Imagine a Jujutsu Kaisen universe forever altered. The vibrant, chaotic world we know, a reality meticulously shaped by the indomitable Satoru Gojo, is now shrouded in a chilling, inescapable darkness. This is not the story of a triumphant awakening, but a grim chronicle of what might have been. This is the reality where Toji Fushiguro, wielding his absolute heavenly restriction, triumphs decisively. It is a world where the strongest falls, and the very fabric of existence unravels in his absence. Prepare to delve into a timeline where hope itself becomes a forgotten whisper. The Hidden Inventory arc, a turning point in the established narrative, concludes not with Gojo's legendary awakening, but with his definitive demise. The world held its breath, unaware of the true catastrophe unfolding in the shadows of that fateful summer. This single, brutal act reshapes everything. Toji Fushiguro, the sorcerer killer, executes his mission with chilling precision. His relentless assault, a masterclass in physical prowess and cursed tool manipulation, proves too much for the young, yet-to-be-realized strongest sorcerer. The battle ends not in a stalemate or a narrow escape, but in absolute finality. Toji claims the life of Riko Amanai, the star plasma vessel, with cold, calculated efficiency. Her purpose, her very existence, is snuffed out without a second thought. But the true horror unfolds moments later, as the strongest sorcerer, Satoru Gojo, also falls to the blade of the man who defied Jujutsu itself. The world loses its future pillar, its beacon of hope, before he ever truly shines. The potential that would have reshaped the Jujutsu world is extinguished in a brutal, unceremonious fashion. This is the moment the timeline fractures, sending ripples of despair across all that is to come. The immediate aftermath of Gojo's death is a seismic shift, a cataclysmic tremor that rattles the very foundations of the Jujutsu world. The balance of power, once precariously held, shatters into irreparable fragments. A void opens, vast and terrifying, threatening to swallow everything. Suguru Geto, reeling from the incomprehensible loss of his closest friend, finds his world utterly dismantled. The shared dream, the youthful idealism they once championed together, crumbles into dust. His anchor, his moral compass, is violently ripped away. Without Gojo's unwavering optimism and profound influence, Geto's path diverges irrevocably. The seeds of disillusionment, already sown by the horrors of his duties, now blossom into a festering resentment. The burden of protecting a world that despises him becomes unbearable without his counterpart. The star plasma vessel, the key to maintaining the delicate balance between Tengen and the Jujutsu world, is lost forever. Her death means Tengen's assimilation is inevitable, accelerating a process that threatens to destabilize reality itself. The protective barrier around Japan weakens, inviting untold horrors. Kenjaku's insidious plans, previously thwarted by Gojo's existence and the successful protection of Riko, are now free to evolve unchecked. The ancient sorcerer, a master manipulator of fate, finds his grand design suddenly unhindered. The path to his ultimate goal, the merging of humanity with cursed energy, lies wide open. The Jujutsu elders, already steeped in their archaic traditions and fear of change, find themselves in a state of utter disarray. The one sorcerer capable of challenging their authority is gone, yet the threats he held at bay now surge forth with terrifying intensity. Their rigid structure proves utterly incapable of adapting to this new, terrifying reality. The loss of Gojo is not merely the loss of a powerful individual. It is the loss of a deterrent, a symbol, and a future. The Jujutsu world, already teetering on the brink, is now plunged into an abyss of uncertainty and fear. The age of sorcerers, as they knew it, is over. The absence of the strongest sorcerer creates an immediate and terrifying vacuum. It is a void that hungers, drawing in the darkest elements of the world. The protective veil Gojo unknowingly cast over humanity dissipates, leaving them exposed and vulnerable. Curses, previously held in check by the sheer force of Gojo's presence, become unchecked and emboldened. They sense the shift, the sudden weakness in the fabric of reality. Their numbers swell, their power grows, and their malevolence spreads like a virulent plague across the land. The balance of power within the Jujutsu world crumbles entirely. There is no longer a single, overwhelming force to deter the most powerful cursed spirits. The special grades, once rare and terrifying, now emerge with alarming frequency, their destructive capabilities unleashed without fear of reprisal. Tokyo Jujutsu High, once a bastion of strength and training, struggles desperately to contain the escalating threats. Its resources are stretched thin, its sorcerers overwhelmed. The institution, designed to protect, finds itself fighting a losing battle against an ever-growing tide of darkness. The narrative shifts dramatically to a darker, more desperate tone, reflecting the grim reality of a world without its strongest protector. Hope becomes a scarce commodity, replaced by a pervasive sense of dread and impending doom. Survival, not victory, becomes the primary objective. The very air seems to thicken with cursed energy, a palpable weight pressing down on humanity. The supernatural soundscapes of this altered reality are punctuated by the screams of the innocent and the guttural roars of unleashed curses, amplifying the tension to an unbearable degree. Every shadow holds a threat, every silence a promise of terror. The world descends into a state of perpetual siege, where humanity is no longer the dominant species. The age of curses has truly begun, ushered in by the fall of the one who could have prevented it. This is a world where the light has gone out, leaving only the encroaching darkness. A young Megumi Fushiguro grows up unaware of his father's brutal act, shielded from the truth of his lineage. The shadow of Toji's legacy, however, still looms, albeit unseen. His childhood is marked by a different kind of absence, one that shapes him in profound ways. The name Toji Fushiguro is perhaps a forgotten figure in the annals of Jujutsu history, not a celebrated killer. His brief, devastating impact is overshadowed by the subsequent chaos, his identity lost to the greater tragedy. Megumi might never learn the true cost of his father's final mission. His potential, the inherited Ten Shadows technique, remains a powerful, dormant force within him. But without Gojo's guidance, his development is uncertain, his path unlit. The immense power he possesses might never be fully realized, or worse, it might be twisted by circumstance. Will he still be drawn into the world of Jujutsu, a world now far more perilous and unforgiving? Or will the absence of Gojo's influence and the lack of a strong Jujutsu presence in his early life lead him down an entirely different path, away from the fight? Will he discover the truth about his father, the man who inadvertently plunged the world into darkness? And if he does, how will that revelation shape his identity, his choices, and his understanding of the world he inhabits? The weight of such a legacy could be crushing. What becomes of Satoru Gojo in this desolate timeline? Will his disillusionment with humanity deepen, leading him inevitably to the villainy we know, but perhaps with an even greater, more destructive fervor? Or will the sheer scale of the catastrophe force him to find another, more desperate way to cope? Perhaps he becomes a lone wolf, a broken protector, fighting a losing battle against the curses he once sought to unleash. Or maybe, without Gojo to challenge his ideology, he embraces his dark path with terrifying conviction, becoming an even more formidable and unchallenged threat. What of Yuji Itadori, the vessel of Sukuna? Without Gojo to find him, to train him, to protect him, his fate is grim. He might never encounter the Jujutsu world, dying a mundane death, or worse, becoming a full vessel for Sukuna, unleashing the king of curses upon an already broken world. Nobara Kugisaki, Maki Zenin, Panda, and the other students of Jujutsu High would face a world devoid of their strongest teacher and mentor. Their training would be harsher, their battles more frequent and deadly. The chances of their survival, let alone their growth, would diminish drastically. The Zenin clan, without Gojo's oversight, might consolidate power, their archaic ways leading to further oppression and stagnation. The Kamo and Gojo clans, without their respective pillars, would likely crumble or become irrelevant, their influence waning in the face of overwhelming cursed energy. This alternate reality is a chilling exploration of what could have been, a world where the strongest is gone and the fate of humanity hangs precariously by a thread. It is a testament to the profound impact of a single individual and the terrifying consequences of his absence. The very air in this world is heavy with the weight of what was lost, a constant reminder of the light that was extinguished too soon. It is a world where hope is a luxury, and survival is a daily, brutal struggle against an ever-encroaching darkness. Could anyone truly fill the void left by Gojo Satoru? Could anyone rise to the challenge and become the new pillar of strength in a world consumed by curses? A world where the strongest fell before his time? The answer, in this grim reality, seems to be a resounding, terrifying no. The legacy of Toji Fushiguro in this timeline is not just the death of a sorcerer, but the death of an era. It is the story of a world plunged into an eternal night, forever haunted by the ghost of what could have been.